Had Claire ever imagined that the quiet man she met in the whirlwind of her wedding day would come to occupy every corner of her thoughts? That the same man, disciplined and reserved, could stir something in her she had never felt before? Tonight, she would finally understand. Roman Hayes stepped into the softly lit bridal chamber, and a strange flutter rose in his chest, one that startled him. At their wedding earlier that day, he had only stolen passing glances at Claire, lost amidst relatives, endless rituals, and the chaos of arrangements. He had barely seen her. Not really. But now, she sat on the edge of the bed in her heavy bridal gown, delicate and radiant, untouched by the chaos surrounding them. Her fingers traced the bangles on her wrists, tapping softly against the gold and silver, creating a rhythm of nervous anticipation she didn't even notice. Roman's eyes followed every movement. He wanted to reach out, to steady her trembling hands, yet he hesitated, unsure if such a touch would be proper. He sat beside her quietly, his chest tight with an unfamiliar tension. Every curve of her face, the innocence in her wide eyes, the gentle pout of her lips, it all drew him closer. She looked so young, so fragile, that a pang of doubt stabbed him. Could he, should he, navigate this? Yet as he watched, warmth spread through him, soft and consuming. Claire lifted her gaze briefly, meeting his eyes, then lowered them instantly, as if ashamed to have looked too long. She folded her hands neatly in her lap, her posture shy yet composed, betraying a subtle confidence. Finally, she spoke, her voice trembling ever so slightly. "Please, you can't just stare. It's rude." Roman cleared his throat, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "I'm not staring. I'm noticing. You're very young." "Young?" she asked, tilting her head, her eyes wide. "I'm not young. You just look older to me," she added, a slight teasing lilt in her tone. His heart skipped. Her words startled him, yet the warmth within him deepened. She was fearless, naive, and breathtakingly honest, unlike anyone he had ever met. He reached for a small velvet box on the dresser and handed it to her. Claire opened it carefully, revealing a delicate ring. Her hands flew to her lips in delight, eyes sparkling like sunlight on water. You've chosen so beautifully," she whispered, almost breathless. Roman smiled softly, gently correcting her. "My name is Roman. You can call me Roman." She shook her head, glancing at him with shy defiance. "No, Auntie said I shouldn't call you by name. I'll call you Romy, if that's okay." Something shifted inside him. Her innocence, her shy boldness, the flutter of her movements, it awakened emotions he had long kept buried. That night, as Roman helped Claire settle into the room, the air between them grew thick with unspoken tension. Every brush of her wrist, every hesitant movement made his pulse quicken. He adjusted her hair gently, touched the delicate jewelry on her neck, careful not to overstep, yet unable to resist the magnetic pull toward her. Claire felt it too. The warmth of his presence pressed close to her skin, both frightening and comforting. She trembled slightly, leaning into him unconsciously, feeling her heartbeat echo with his. Roman reminded himself of his responsibilities, his younger brothers, the household, the respect due to his bride. Yet the tension, subtle and electric, refused to be ignored. "You're beautiful, Claire," he murmured, his voice soft, husky with something unspoken. "More than I imagined." Claire's cheeks flushed crimson. "Thank you, Romy G," she whispered, her voice trembling, revealing both shyness and delight. In that moment, Roman realized marriage was not just a duty or tradition, it was a journey of trust, of understanding, and of discovering another's heart. Morning light spilled softly through the curtains. Roman left early for work, disciplined as always. Claire moved quietly, exploring her new home, greeting his brothers politely. Though a small pang of disappointment lingered that Roman hadn't spent more time with her. She understood his nature. Patience was part of the journey. They were beginning together. Henan and Heder tried to coax laughter from her, teasing gently. Claire smiled, polite yet curious, her mind returning to the man she now called her husband. When Roman returned, he found her waiting quietly, hands folded in her lap, eyes downcast yet shining with curiosity. "Claire, our age difference, our upbringing, it matters. We must take time to understand each other," he said gently, a rare softness in his tone. Claire's heart raced, yet she nodded. I understand. I will try." "You are remarkable," he said, warmth threading his words. "So beautiful. I want to keep you close, to protect you." Her cheeks warmed. She wanted to step back, yet a small part of her leaned toward him, drawn to the quiet intensity of his words. Days passed slowly, deliberately. Small gestures became threads connecting them, a brush of hands, a shared glance, soft laughter echoing in quiet hallways. Claire learned to read the subtle cues in Roman's disciplined demeanor. Roman noticed her courage in gentle ways, the innocence she carried, and the soft strength in her presence that seemed to soften his rigid world. He caught himself staring at her sometimes, almost absent-mindedly, noticing how her hair fell over her shoulder, how her lips curved when she smiled at something small. Claire sensed it, and would quickly glance away, cheeks warming, only for a tiny mischievous smile to escape moments later. One morning, Roman quietly entered the kitchen. Finding Claire already preparing tea, the sunlight danced across her hair, and for a moment, he simply watched her. The way her fingers carefully wrapped around the delicate cup, the tiny hum she made while stirring, it made his chest ache in a new, unfamiliar way. "Good morning," he said softly. Claire jumped slightly, then smiled shyly. "Morning, Romy G." He reached out and brushed a strand of hair from her face. Neither moved away this time. The air between them hummed gently, a quiet intimacy settling naturally. Later, they shared a quiet evening by the fireplace. Claire leaned against Roman, reading a book aloud softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Occasionally, Roman would interject a comment, teasing her lightly, and her laughter would ripple like soft bells. At one point, their knees brushed, a fleeting touch that sent a ripple of warmth through both. Neither spoke of it, but the energy lingered, tender and electric. Misunderstandings arose, naturally a word spoken too quickly, a hesitation misunderstood. fleeting frustrations that vanished into laughter or whispered apologies. Each moment, however delicate, drew them closer, forging a fragile but growing trust. Roman observed the way she studied him, noticing small expressions, the rules he lived by silently. Claire realized that beneath his composed exterior, Roman felt deeply, passionately, though he rarely revealed it. One evening, he planned a quiet, intimate dinner at home. Candles flickered softly, shadows dancing across the walls. Claire's heart beat rapidly as he guided her to her seat. "This is only the beginning," he said, voice low and tender. "We will learn. Slowly, carefully, but truly." "I want that," she admitted softly, her voice trembling, eyes shimmering. Later, they sat together in the quiet living room. The world outside seemed distant and muted. Roman reached for her hand, holding it lightly, feeling her warmth seep into him. "You know, Claire, sometimes I wonder how someone like you could come into my life and change everything so quietly," he murmured. She looked up at him, heart fluttering. "And sometimes, I wonder how I ever lived before knowing you." For a long moment, the room held nothing but shared breaths, the subtle rhythm of two hearts learning to navigate love, respect, and desire. Weeks turned into months. Every day, their bond grew stronger. Hesitation and longing became a rhythm, delicate yet steady. Trust blossomed. Care deepened. A quiet love began to root itself, patient, enduring, intimate. Roman found joy in the smallest things, the way she smiled at simple moments, how she unconsciously leaned closer during conversation, the shy sparkle in her eyes when he complimented her. Claire cherished his protectiveness, the way he silently watched over her, guiding her gently without ever overwhelming her. Evenings became theirs, whispered conversations, light touches, laughter filling the room. Days were slow, deliberate, and yet rich with meaning. Every glance, every word, every subtle gesture was a promise, not of passion alone, but of understanding, respect, and love that would last. Some nights, when Roman thought she was asleep, he would quietly watch her, noticing the soft rise and fall of her chest, the peaceful curve of her lips, the innocent vulnerability that made him want to protect her with every fiber of his being. Claire, sensing his gaze without opening her eyes, would nuzzle closer in the quiet darkness, feeling his presence warm her from within. In the stillness of the night, as Roman held Claire close, they both understood. Love isn't always fiery or instantaneous. Sometimes it whispers, slowly, gently, until it fills every corner of your heart. And in those whispers, their hearts found each other.